Hi, I'm Gail Wetzler, and I'm the director of the curriculum in the Visceral Institute for Visceral Manipulation. I am a physical therapist. I have been working in women's health for a number of years. I'm an athletic trainer, and I have been working with athletes who perhaps have dysfunction into the pelvic girdle, the low back pain, sacral, SI joint problems, and perhaps even those that travel into the lower extremities. So welcome to the possibility of the thoracic cavity. This is in the level VM4. And what about all the history of the people that come in to see you that have had falls and they catch themselves with their arm or their shoulder and the trauma enters into their torso? So the opportunity that you need to be flexible for breathing, and yet the interchange of information, how the head connects to the body. And so you're going to learn so much more about the possibility of the thoracic cavity and how it affects head and head posture. You know, one of the amazing things that I discovered in taking this class is we tend to see a lot of patients that come in with cervical dysfunction. So they have forward head postures. And you can do exercise, you can do manual therapy, you can do postural re-education, and perhaps it keeps returning. So when you learn about the different fascial layers of the cervical region, how they connect into the pericardium, into the relationship of the pleura, so the depth of what may be primary for what causes that forward head posture is deeper inside the body than perhaps in this localized area. So, and what about those people that have come in with history of pneumonia, bronchitis, exchanges of different diseases in the region of the thorax? What does that do then from the inside out? How does that affect the ribs and their ability to move? How does that affect the diaphragm? So for those of us who have a tendency to work from the outside musculoskeletal system, you'll get an idea what might be a main driver for the rib cage, how important the rib cage is, how scoliosis can start and occur, how postural changes are not making changes because perhaps we're missing a piece of the puzzle. So you will learn about how to palpate individual cervical fascia, the pleura, the lungs, the fissures of the lungs, how to identify and get in between the different lobes of the lungs. And we learn about deeper structures, what's behind the sternum. This is called the mediastinum. Can I get into be able to make a change actually in the pericardium and the esophagus and its relationship inside the lungs to the bronchi? And what about the phrenic nerve? What about the vagal nerve as it travels through? So as we start to learn about the thorax, we now start incorporating the integration of subatmospheric pressures that are the exchange of oxygen that happens in the lungs. So we have a lot to learn in VM4 and how the anatomy, the importance of that anatomy is related to the head and neck, and therefore any exchanges that will happen in the abdominal cavity and pelvic cavity as well. So I invite you to come and learn about the thoracic cavity. It's one of the primary areas that actually Jean-Pierre started his curiosity, his discoveries in understanding the visceral relationship to musculoskeletal problems.